All right, first thing we have to understand is a conflict of interest. That conflict of interest is the banking institutions that make money off of creating bonds and not funding the pensions. We have to understand that. They come up with false statistics. They get people, organizations to go along with these statistics, promising things that can't and will not happen into the future. The way to go and fund these pensions is a pay-go program. That means you fund your own pension. If the state wants to chip in and match, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I think as a taxpayer, we don't want to promise things to people into the future. You just can't do that, because that's obligating and saying that I, the taxpayer, will always be making the same amount of money in the future, and I want to provide a pension to somebody that will not be working, in the future. Why would I want to provide a pension to people that are not providing any kind of value or service into the future? I wouldn't want to do that. It doesn't make any sense. As a taxpayer, we need to be prudent with our money. So the first thing I say, hey, if you want to do a 401k program or something where people invest independently and they pile up some money and then the state matches it, a pay-go program, pay as you go, I could agree more with that. Right now, the big problem of what we're seeing is that the states are making promises it cannot keep and is indebting the taxpayer up to insurmountable amounts. And the system is broke. It doesn't work. It's built by politicians and unions that make promises now that they can't keep into the future. So like I said, we need to come up with a pay-go program and understand that if you are a public employee, meaning federal, state, local, whatever, if you are a public employee, we cannot fund you into the future. You got to fund yourself. Matter of fact, you cannot be a burden on society. The value that you bring to society is the value that we see now. You cannot have these lavish pensions. You cannot have these, lavish medical programs. I'm not even as harping so much on the medical programs, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to pay for your medical into the future. You pay for your own medical into the future. That's not my job to pay for your, you start working at 23, you retire at 43, and then I got to pay your pension and your medical for the next 40 plus years of your life, wishing that you die soon, because you're a burden. See, we got to understand it's not a good deal. And we got to understand that our politicians are intentionally trying to sack us with debt. We got to understand that the bankers are intentionally trying to sack municipalities with debt. They're trying to intentionally saddle states with debt. And we got to do things as a pay-go program, pay as you go. No taking out any more bonds. No taking out any more loans. If we're going to raise money, I'd rather do a voluntary system. That way, there's accountability in that process. Because right now, I look at it I'm getting no value. I'm paying so much taxes, I'm getting no value at all. Right now we have the school systems. They've turned into a network of. They basically turned into a business, basically a place for people, just a union, a place for people just to work. It has nothing to do with education. It has everything to do with indoctrination. You know, it's an indoctrination, and I don't want to pay for that. You know, you shouldn't have to. Things that you don't like, you shouldn't have to pay for it. All right? Anyways, that's it.